Well, when I was called, I was just very excited and blown away. I just was very honored to get the call and to be nominated and to be inducted tonight into the Hall of Fame. I came back about a year ago with my daughter to view the school and just saw amazing things that happened. So I'm pretty excited. Well, that's kind of a good question because my parents we were living in Texas. My dad was thinking about moving to Virginia and didn't at the time, but called up the Liberty and said we might be interested and want to know more information. My daughter runs, and so Coach Hopkins called me, and I've never been east before. Probably the furthest east I've been was Texas, which is not very east. Yeah, and so Coach Hopkins talked to me. I didn't know much about it, and he continued to talk, continued to convince me to come. Offered me a great scholarship and a great opportunity. I did read that Liberty Way book, and I thought, I am not going there, because back then the rules were much more strict than what you have now. But Coach talked me into coming. I never met him before I came, never saw the campus before I came, flew in, and it was, I'm leaving DFW International Airport, okay, get that picture. And I fly into Lynchburg, and I look out the window, and all I see are trees. I don't even see any buildings. I'm like, oh dear, what did I do? But Liberty really just did wrap their arms around me and brought me in. Coming to that team was pretty cool and amazing. I really didn't start athletics until I was in high school and wasn't really going to go the athletic route, but my sister talked me into playing basketball. We played basketball and volleyball my freshman and sophomore year, and I was pretty fast. Everybody said, Annie, you're really fast. And so they didn't even have a track team. My junior year, my school started a track team for the first time. My running shoes were those little $5 Kmart shoes. That's what I ran on, and did pretty good my junior year. My senior year in Texas, we have a Texas Association of Private Schools. That's our competition that we run in, and I won state in the mile and the 800 that year, my senior year. So I didn't really think I was good enough to go to college though, and even Coach wrote a letter later on saying, well, she was just kind of okay, not necessarily good enough, but I think he just saw some kind of potential there and gave me a chance. Right, so we got here, and I never even thought to ask the question, do you have a track? And they didn't have one. So our workout, we would run on the streets. In fact, the very first day, I remember it because he said, run 6 miles. You're gonna run 3 miles out and 3 miles back on the streets into downtown Lynchburg. And I was like, I've never run 6 miles before in my life. But daily, there was a track at a middle school. It's kind of broken up, but we would run there. It's about 3 miles away. We would do our workout, and then we would cool down a 3-mile trip back. And then also, the Liberty did have some great trails out there. So there were some good trails that they had cut down trees and not all around here. Then back then there was it was just a circle where we called it the circle side, and then I'm not sure what we called the other side, but we would go up to the circle and we'd run around the circle too. So Coach was very creative. Also back here where all these dorms are now, it used to just be a gravel road, and so we would turn right sometimes, run down the gravel road, and then kind of back up into the trees over there. I think we were really close to each other. Coach would always do devotions with us. We would do a lot of activities together. We were a pretty tight group that encouraged each other and helped each other along. I actually ended up getting married in December of 1986, and about 10 days later, in January of '87, I was in a major car wreck. I had a compression fracture on my vertebrae, couldn't move for about 3 days in the hospital, and Coach found out about it on the evening news. He rushed down to come see me, and the doctors said, I'm not sure if she'll ever compete competitively again. She'll probably be able to run, but maybe not compete competitively. and I think God was with me and did some work in my body. After 2 months, Coach, the doctor released me to start running in the pool. So I did some very, very strenuous workouts in the pool. That year I won, that year I went to nationals. I think I came in 5th place in nationals that year. So the Lord did do some healing. And then the following year was my senior year. Well, God is an amazing God, and we rely on Him, and we've got to know that we cannot put who we are in our athlete, in our own abilities. God creates us for just so much more than that, and so I think He gave me the strength to make it through and to say, I've got more for you, Annie, and I want you to do this. And because of that, I did create my own track that I handed out to people. I would put it was back then, we didn't have computers, so everything was handwritten. So I handwrote a track. I would at the end I would put 2 into my sock and shoe, and then after, when I was cooling down, and I would go and try to find other athletes from other schools to cool down with, because I got to know my competitors. And at the end I said, well, I'd like to give you this track. So I tried to honor the Lord in my running. I was surprised that I was able to make it that far. I think that year, I'm pretty sure Delethea made it that year. Maybe Gina Gibson made it that year. There was only 3 or 4 of us that made it to nationals that year. So it wasn't an easy feat to do. Coach was always encouraging and pushing along, and just the extra effort he did to give me those separate workouts to help me get to that point. Because I believe I went straight from running in the pool to running on the track. It was a very fast transition. I went really for about 3.5 months without running on the ground at all, and then I'm racing again. I got a accounting degree here at Liberty. In fact, my junior year, walked around when all of the clubs were showing, and there's not an accounting club. I was like, well, why don't we have an accounting club? So my senior year, I found a sponsor, and we started the first accounting club. So hopefully it's still going here at the school. In fact, I brought my brochure to show. But that I graduated with an accounting degree and went on to get my CPA. Right now I have my own firm in Dallas, and encourage my own staff, so all the people there are Christians, and encourage my own staff to say, is it 1 Corinthians or 2 Corinthians 2:14 says we are to be His fragrance. So in everything that we do, I really try to take what I've learned here at Liberty, not just the educational but the spiritual part too, and say, okay, Lord, guys, we're to be well-pleasing the Lord what we do. Yes, this is how we make our money, but we also need to say there's something beyond life than just making money.